Kickoff starts now.
All right. So now on to MVP, our last award. And
would you like to announce your pick first or me?
Sure. Mine is Kyler Murray.
Are you kidding me? That's mine too. Okay, you know what?
You can just pick like Lamar or Patrick.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna rebut you. Okay, just go on. Tell me about Kyler Murray.
All right. Kyler Murray had a pretty impressive rookie year. He has a good team around him. I think they could do very well. MVP is about kind of taking that jump. He has DeAndre Hopkins. He has Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk. He has a lot of weapons. He's young. He has all the potential, and I think he'll make that jump. I'm not going to go that into, I'm not going to elaborate that much just because, I think you were going to say the same thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to elaborate for you, but then because I'm annoying, I'm going to rebut everything that I was saying about Kyler and tell you why Patrick Mahomes will win it because, whatever. But about Kyler Murray, like you said, he's got all the weapons. He's got all he needs. It looks like that this will be a great second season for that team. But also something that you mentioned, and then I'd like to add on to it, in the past few years and really the past 5 years, and maybe even more, the MVP winner has been someone who wasn't super great the year before. He kind of came out of nowhere-ish. Not nowhere, but they take a very, very large jump in that next season.
Second year.
Not always second year. A lot of the times it is second year. So Lamar Jackson was second year. Patrick Mahomes, it was technically second year. And then Tom Brady won it, but it should have been Carson Wentz just because Wentz got injured in the last games. But he seemed like he was the obvious pick for MVP. He was a second year. But then even before that, it was Matt Ryan, who wasn't a second year, but he still took a significant leap from the year before that to win MVP. And then Cam Newton, he's always been pretty great, but he took a great leap to win MVP again. So there's really been this trend of quarterbacks, taking a big leap to win quarterback. So, to win MVP. So that's why especially second year in these past few years. So Kyler Murray really does fit that mold. But with that said, I think that is the bold pick. But if I were to bet on someone to win MVP, I'm not choosing Kyler Murray because I'm not confident enough in this card. I think MVPs nearly all the time are on a team in the NFL that makes it far. And I do think that the Cardinals are a dark horse team to make it. There's a lot that could go wrong. You said their defense is underrated or people hate on them too much, but I still think that they're pretty. They're all right. They're definitely bottom of the pack. I think they're below average still. And as for this offense, there are a lot of ifs. I think. Kyler. First of all, just Kyler Murray alone, we're not sure talent wise if he'll do well enough. They do have DeAndre Hopkins, but he's adjusting to a new system. He's a great wide receiver, but it might take a little bit to get adjusted there. And then as for the running game, they've got Kenyon Drake, who is on and off, and I'll see how he does. If I'm not sure what I think about Drake. He had some great runs last year, but I'm not sure if he's that true RB1.
Yeah.
So what I was saying for why I bet on Patrick Mahomes, he's never faltered in his 2-year career. His first season, he won MVP. The second season, he was injured part of it, and he led his team to winning Super Bowl MVP. So really, I have no reason to believe that Mahomes won't do what he's always done for his career, and I just see another MVP season in him. And then as for Lamar Jackson, he has had his first season he played all right. So, and he's only had one, Mahomes has had 2 seasons where he's played great, and Lamar Jackson has only had 1. So that's why, and it's also harder to win MVP 2 years in a row. It just happens statistically less often. So that's why I'd pick Mahomes to win it over Lamar Jackson.
I could be wrong, but I don't know about MVP. But the last time an NFL team won a Super Bowl 2 years in a row was the Patriots in 2003 and 2000.
Okay.
Thing is, especially in football, it's very hard to win awards twice in a row. I can't see Lamar doing it. And I think that even though Mahomes is so dominant, they're going to be even harder on him to win MVP just because.
Why would you bring in something about the Super Bowl when you're talking about MVP?
I'm just trying to say that, especially in football, it's very hard to win stuff multiple times. I just didn't know how many times.
I'm just going to look it up. But whatever, you can keep talking.
What I'm saying is that I think that Patrick Mahomes' expectations for him are so high. If he even has an amazing year, but not as amazing as like his
Brett
rookies.
Favre won it 2 times. Maybe am I looking at this wrong?
Yeah, I think he did.
I think it says 1995, 96.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, go on.
But I think that like Patrick Mahomes' expectations for him are going to be so high that I doubt that he'll even be able to reach that. And I think the only way he'll win MVP is if he outreaches his.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's also why
expectations were high for him coming to this season, and he still performed pretty great. And who knows? Maybe he would have outshined Lamar Jackson if he had actually been playing that entire season. I'm not saying it would have happened.
I don't think he was even in the MVP discussion. He missed 2 games.
Fine. That's fine. Whatever.
The expectations are going to be so high for him. That's why it's so hard for someone to win MVP.
Well, it's also just like some voter fatigue, but I don't think there's fatigue going on with Mahomes yet because he's still just.
Look at Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald had 11 sacks, won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure. And then had 20 sacks, won Defensive Player of the Year, right? And then had 12.5 and didn't.
Well,
right?
Who won Defensive Player of the Year that year?
Gilmore, and I get that he was so good, but Aaron
That's
Donald.
No, but it's also because
Aaron Donald was number 2 in voting.
It's also about what your team does. All this stuff, mostly all this stuff is about what your team does as well. Because you're more likely to give it if a guy's doing insane things, but he's like, and I understand the Defensive Player of the Year or like. I think Offensive Player of the Year especially is often given to players who aren't on as good teams because MVP award is about not. I think it's like valuable. So it shows that you aren't super valuable if you're putting up great numbers, but your team isn't doing well. But like Lamar Jackson leading them to the AFC Championship and with Mahomes leading them to also the AFC Championship, that shows that not only are you possessing great skill, but you're leading your team. Whereas Offensive Player of the Year just means that you're a very skilled athlete and it doesn't really have to do with your team as much. And I think that.
But Benjamin, Chandler Jones had higher votes than Aaron Donald last year, which makes sense. I'm saying like it's not only about like.
I mean, there's some fatigue. Yes, I will say that, and I'm kind of rambling there, but
I think that it'll be very hard for Lamar or Mahomes to win MVP again, just because there's too high expectations for them to reach them.
And you know what? Maybe if Seattle's doing well, Russell Wilson. That's kind of if the odds are good.
Russell Wilson might end his career as one of the best quarterbacks ever, but he will never get an MVP.
You think he will not? I mean, maybe this is the year. No. The real thing that you could say about that is Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, I think, won that.
What?
He won an MVP. No, he never won an MVP.
He never won an MVP. That is a lot more significant than Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson still got a lot of time in his career to win MVP. And, I'm not saying it'll be this year. I think that there are guys who are ranked above him, but I'm just saying, you never know. Seattle is always a team that will have success in some way or another. So maybe this will be the year that Russell Wilson just really outshines the rest of the MVP.
I know you won't like it. Russell Wilson can never get an MVP vote just because it's funny that he's such a great quarterback.
Okay, yeah, fine, whatever. That could just be his legacy.
Yeah, that can be his legacy. Great quarterback, no MVP vote. But yeah, I think we both had Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
It's not that bold, but I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, it just does make sense because of the way that the pattern is working. And I think it's a little bold because, the obvious pick, the easy pick is always the players that have proven themselves. But truly, if you look at the pattern that's been going on in the NFL for the past few years, it isn't the proven quarterbacks. It isn't the Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees who win MVP awards lately. It's been the guys who have a breakout season. And that's why Kyler Murray could be a good pick for MVP.
Yes.
I think that should do it for this episode. I am likely not going to have a voice for a little while after yelling at Oren for a little bit. And I really didn't have a voice to start, so that'll be fun.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, and bear down.
Thanks for listening. Tune in later I can't talk. Tune in next week for some more NFL discussion. Bear down and goodbye.
Bear down.
If you enjoyed this episode of From the Den, please remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video.
Or, if you're a Packers fan, remember to dislike and leave a nasty comment. Click the links on the screen to access additional content.